What's up, guys? So welcome to this Black File edition. I asked a few questions on what is it that you guys would want to see more about, what content do you guys want to see more like in the production process, right? So this question I specifically asked you, and I'll put it up here, and you guys answered and you said, well, you want to see more AI based stuff, more productivity stuff. So I decided to make the first video based around the AI and how you can actually use it in your business. Not just prompt ChatGPT and ask it a bunch of questions, right? Actually use technology like ChatGPT in your business to drive revenue, to make more money. So if that is what you're interested in, then sit tight and enjoy this video. I'm gonna dive into my computer and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. So on November the 30th, 2022, the entire world changed, right? Why? Because the whole public got introduced to this thing called ChatGPT, right? So as you can see here in this article that we have here, we have the Forbes here, and it reads specifically that we have Microsoft considering investing a $10 billion check to OpenAI, right? And specifically, their partnership is what makes OpenAI so dangerous, not just because of the skill and the engineers and all the things that OpenAI has, but also because of the partnership, because they have the capital, right? So then you can also see here, obviously, Microsoft's bet specifically big on the creators of ChatGPT in the race of the dominance of AI, right? So what does this mean, right? Now, specifically, AI became accessible to the public, right? For free through a tool called ChatGPT, right? So it went from 0 to 1 million users in less than 5 days. Now, there is a study that you can check out, like Angry Birds took, I'm not exactly sure how long Angry Birds took, but they took, I believe it was a little bit more than a week to get to more than a specific $1 million on the user platform, right? Or not $1 million, but 1 million users on the platform. So, and you can specifically also see like Microsoft is the company backing OpenAI, right? That's why the traction has been rapidly growing, not just because there's big product market fit, etc., but because this is a whole new mind-blowing thing, right? So how are we going to use this and what will be impacted, right? So there are a few areas that will be heavily impacted, right? So there are 3 things that we're going to look at in this specific video. So number 1 here being the nature of work itself, right? And then how businesses operate. This will be a major here. And this here, you can call it the Archimedes lever or whatever you want to call it. That's a section inside here. But the economy overall, specifically how it will affect the economy and the role of UBI. And there's a few case studies, well, not case studies, but rather studies that we will look into, something that Sam Altman is into. And then also obviously asymmetric value and how that is created inside of this whole environment where we are right now. Right, so this video is for you if you're a go-getter, right? If you're a go-getter, you're a game changer, you're that entrepreneur that wants to dent the universe. You're that rebel that wants to go out, you have an idea, you want to go out and you want to dent the universe, you want to make a real difference, you want to help a lot of people, and you want to make a ton of money in the process. So this video is also for you if you're like an innovator, an inventor, an engineer, right? An evolutionary hunter, as we like to call it, right? So for the new age, and you know you have that idea, but you just need to validate it, or you want to get someone to help you, pump that through the roof. Or not essentially pump it, but scale that through the roof. So if you're a service-based business owner doing more than $10,000 per month, then you might want to be sitting around, right? So let's quickly look at this thing called first principles thinking. Now, this is something that Elon Musk specifically drives, right? He loves first principle thinking. That's how he got Tesla specifically to where it is, and mainly, in the way that he thinks. That's why the success that he produces, the output that he has, this is one of the principles that he implements in his everyday life, right? So first principles thinking, let's look at this little diagram we have here. We have identify your objective, right? Then we have list the main obstacles within that. Then obviously you're breaking it down, so question your assumptions on it. Then you have uncover your first principles of that thing, that topic, whatever it is. Then we have come up with possible solutions on specifically how can we extract water. Now in this example, obviously, how can we extract water from the atmosphere and create that necessary technology, right? So that the atmosphere, specifically atmospheric water generators, right? Now, obviously this is a baseline example that I'm just giving you here. This can be applied to many other things, and I've written a business example here. For an example, let me just run this. It says an example of first principle thinking could be using basic laws of physics to design a new type of transportation vehicle rather than simplifying the specific, like trying to improve upon, you know, the existing designs. That's how Elon Musk also got their boosters, like the whole process that he went through with their boosters is with SpaceX. That's how they got it to specifically improve, because most of his competition were saying no, that's a waste of money, etc. It's not worth it. We don't do it in that way. And he reverse engineered it. He used first principles, and he asked the question, why not, right? So you can look at this example here with the Newton's law. But however, another example in business, specifically in the context of business, is for when you're looking at specifically what other companies are doing, right? And you're trying to copy their success, which is obviously not the most wisest thing to do, right? Because a person using first principle thinking would start by asking the question such as, what are the basics needs of my customers, right? So how can we provide value to them in the most efficient way? What are the key resources required to build the product or the service, and then build the business model from scratch, taking it into account the fundamental principles of supply and demand and the value creation process, right? That's why that economics are so important, right? So meaning that this is how we should view the advancements, right? So here specifically, AI is not disrupting you as the human, right? So why not? Because if you, like, it's not disrupting anyone who wasn't meant to be disrupted, right? So using AI is like using Google, right? So if you use ChatGPT right now, it's like using Google. Everyone is using it, right? You ask it some questions and it spits out an answer. So why is everyone like, you know, ChatGPT is like one of the four horsemen or the fourth horseman, right? That's the question that we have to ask here, because we have to sit down and think what is actually happening here. And I put this in here. This was frightening for me, writing all this stuff, obviously learning more about the AI in general, the different models out there, and how the implementation processes work within businesses, etc. And yes, this is scary, but you need to understand, if you want to make use of what is happening in the world now, which is radical change, and you need to be able to pivot as the business owner, you want to know how to align yourself with the technology, because you cannot fight the technology. So that's the basic principle here. So first, Google has been using AI, right, for years, and it's so good they don't even want you to be talking specifically about it. And they recently, you know, mentioned Sparrow and a few others, you know, obviously because with DeepMind, right? I have here, I wanted to add some images here, but obviously you can go check out this link here. I'll leave some of these links in the description down below. So you can go check out DeepMind and AlphaFold, right? So these are all, I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty of things. I wanna keep this video as really easy consumable as possible. Just know that these companies out there are like the big players out there. They're on the board with this. Some of them are a little bit behind and some of them are, you know, on top of things. However, we won't know unless they want us to know, right? So that's what's happening right now. So even if you look at the military, etc., right? So pooling and models, this is something you can go read about, which is very, very, very interesting. If you're interested to learn more deeper about this stuff, obviously. And you can go look at Facebook's version of this whole AI, let's just call it AI, which is PyTorch, and you can go look and read up on PyTorch to find out the specifics. However, like Apple is not saying anything about the AI and specifically why, right? Because they're too into the thing as well, right? We have such advanced technology. Like even if you look at your machine, like your iPhone, right? It's super advanced, and even one of the most advanced technologies that you can put on your wrist is the Apple Watch. And we're not even using we're not even using 90%, or rather even like 60% of its capability. Some of us just wear it to track some fitness-based stuff. etc. But it goes way deeper than that, right? Everything that's inside of that watch. So, you know, like, it needs more creators and to produce specific bangers. We don't need people going out copying, right? We don't need more of this in the market and in industry, and those people are the people who are going to be automated, eliminated, whatever you want to call it, through the technology, right? So if you can write copy and use original thoughts to get your own data, right, specifically outside of the lattice of the AI, right? So here's where you come, where you have your skill set and you know how to work the machine, or you know how to feed it data, and you know how to prompt it, you know how to go ahead and, because the more effective data you can feed it and you know how to talk to it, you will be able to learn faster, move faster, build faster, because that is what the technology allows you to do. So if you're a coder, for an example, then primarily you don't have to go and type all the code. It can generate the code. You just need to have the baseline skill, the baseline activity, the baseline skill. You need to know how to manage that thing, how to tweak it, how to iterate. And there's this specific guy from who's one of the leaders. I cannot remember what his name is right now, but he's one of the top guys for Elon Musk within Tesla, and he said the same thing. They've been using this for a long time, obviously, right? He doesn't go out and generate all the code. He uses that to help him in the process. That's a leverage lever, and we're going to get to the Archimedes lever, right? So all these people are saying the same thing. This is where this kind of thing comes down to, right? So as I said here, if you're a copywriter, use original thought to get your ideas out, specifically your own data outside of the lattice of the AI, as I've said, right? So use your God given AI, right? So, and then you will prosper, because all these people are saying the same thing. They are basically sucking the narrative teat, right? So, like, your next video could be, you know, something, if your next video is something about that plants ain't good for you, or like, you know, like Tesla is bad, or, you know, inflation is bad, then specifically, I got you, right? I understand. I've seen enough of those videos around here, but we need innovation. We need front runners running these things, right? So I'm not saying that those things are not important. I'm just saying that there's a lot of that out there. There's a lot of liver kings out here. So at the end of the day, we want like more exposure to what's currently happening, and that will create the asymmetric value. So at the end of the day, just align yourself with asymmetric value, right? So if you're an entrepreneur, right? If you're an entrepreneur, where's all the product market fit, right? Where is all the product market fit at? Because right now, this is the boom. There will be companies popping up everywhere. I've mentioned this before, 3, 4, I don't know how many months ago. Like, I don't know. I've said this, and this is what's happening right now, right? So pay attention to it. In my opinion, it's important to pay attention to it, right? So there's certainly something towards ignoring the narrative. If you look at like all the bangers that was written, right? So if you look at songs, I don't know what kind of fan you are, whatever kind of like, you might be a rap fan, you might be some other genre fan, but if you look at those songs that were produced, like, you know, like, you know, for an example, like Ed Sheeran, you know, he produced that song. If you like yourself so much, then you should go and love yourself. I might have butchered that, but that was a banger, right? So we want to specifically eliminate the chaff now, and we want to focus on, you know, like honing in on what's happening and opening your eyes towards creative processes. Because yes, we're going to get into the whole creative processes that are also being sliced down and not completely eliminated, but you need to know how to align yourself with things, right? So let's produce bangers every single week and you'll be fine. You'll be fine, right? So the nature of work itself. So we first must understand the terminology. It's specific. What does this mean? So AI specifically is the tech that helps people or humans, quote unquote computers, do things that you specifically normally need a human brain to do, right? So this could be learning, solving problems, understanding what we see or hear, and yes, also, like I said, I did feel a little weird when I was writing this stuff, right? So OpenAI created ChatGPT, right? So they created a massive learning language model that allows the everyday human, you and me, to go ahead and ask it a few questions, prompt it, ask it questions, feed it data, to translate that into specifically machine speak and retranslate that back into human speak, right? Now everyone can use it, etc., right? So there's also, if you go and look, I might leave it in the comment section below, I might not, but there was an interview I was watching on the Wall Street Journal where they were talking to the head of Microsoft, and he was giving that whole Indian example, right? Which you can have your own opinion on that, but you can go check that out. This great example of what I just mentioned here. So in order to communicate with it, we need to understand the inputs that produce the amazing output. Now we at Self-Built Systems, we provide you these inputs specifically, right? And then that produces the amazing output. So communication back to us specifically, right? So up until recently, it was like based through using API codes, right? To communicate. So this was based on the ChatGPT model, or rather on the chat model, which is ChatGPT, right? So now the soon to be model will be voice, right? To understand voice commands, prompts, to get the ideas that you're that you're specifically like kicking it back on your couch, and you're like specifically asking your smart home or something, hey, make me some lunch. Hey, I want to go to the shower, if you've ever seen one of those videos, right? Make me some lunch, make me some coffee, etc., right? And that's not too far in the distant future for us to be able to prompt it in such a way, right? So second is that specifically ChatGPT spits out words, sentences, paragraph, articles, and even it can write entire books or job descriptions, cold emails, SMSs, etc., right? You can take a cold email, it can go and produce that into a text, it can go and produce that into, I don't know, some bunch of tweets, maybe a tweet storm, maybe however you want to break that up, but it can do that. It can also go ahead, and you're watching a YouTube video and you have the little transcribe, you can go ahead, summarize all the transcribe, and boom, there is your thing. Maybe you want to talk about it, right? So we as humans can interpret other things like video and sound, and it's the crazy specific thing is that the AI can do that too, right? So OpenAI also runs DALL-E. You can go check out DALL-E. I'll pull it up here real quick. This is what DALL-E is. I'm not going to spend too much time. I'm just going to quickly give you a quick overview. It's obviously based on some image generation, and this whole topic of the image generation is what my point is here, right? So with this image generation, it's super important to realize a few things here, right? Now, number one being that like all you need to know is like that I've went out and I've asked it, not all you need to know, but I went out and I asked it a question of, I took a photo of myself, right? And I asked it specifically to, this is what the photo looks like, but I asked it specifically to go ahead and use this photo, and I prompted to specifically paint me as a character inside of GTA 5. What would I look like if I was inside of the game GTA 5 as one of those poster kind of things, right? And it went, boom, it did that, gave me 3-4 examples. I picked the one I liked the most, and then boom, this was the outcome of it, right? So now OpenAI models specifically are split right now. So as I've said, right, one for text and one for pictures, but it's like in the very near future, they will merge, right? So think about like a flip book, like where you go to the flip book and it goes, and you see the little thing go like this. It all looks like a little story that they tell, right? And then that story, specifically whether it's doodles or flip books, but flip book, best example for this is, as an example, you only see the one picture, but it goes and you see the whole story, right? So if they can do that with these, they know obviously they will be able to do that with video, right? So and then, like I said, if the picture goes fast enough, it looks like a story. So a bunch of pictures that looks like a story. So in the near future, these platforms will merge into one to specifically to the same degree as the tech inputs will also merge into the verbal, right? So you will be able to communicate in whatever way you want, right? And out specifically, because whatever way you interpret the information, it will be able to make full videos with sound, with words, and specifically with words that we love. And if you have not yet seen any sort of deepfake video, please go and just Google deepfake examples. Also, go and look at this website called, let me quickly get this website, something people who don't exist or something like that. If I'm incorrect, I'll just correct it here. But anyways, just go and look at that. It's crazy, because imagine them going out creating like an influencer person or like a fantasy industry person, and then they pushing all the right buttons, right? That's why those things are so powerful, right? So this is why Elon Musk is pushing Neuralink, right? So he does not want us to be limited by our abilities to think. So if you are a reader, and specifically, because like I love to read, and you know that the faster, like you can read faster, right, than your ability to talk, right? And so that means that you can think faster, and then you can speak. Specifically, you can think faster than you can speak. So that stuff is already here. And it might be a little bit woo-woo, but that is the truth, right? Ever open up a book, read it, and if you place your tongue on the top of your like mouth, specifically, you will know that that's obviously that's a few speed reading kind of things, which I find very interesting. But anyways, like you will be able to do that. You'll be able to read faster, right? Then the words are able to come out of your mouth. So if you have a smartphone, like I said, you have a machine that falls into this whole machine generation, right? So what we see today is specifically what we can see, right? It's what we can see. That's what we're seeing today. But with the advancements, like the versions of ChatGPT 35 or ChatGPT 200, will be way more advanced and be able to output things in the exact same way, right, as we want them. As you see, we had iPhone whatever, now we have iPhone 14, right? How businesses specifically operate using the Archimedes lever, right? So the Archimedes lever specifically is we refer to this as basically the Archimedes and the law of the lever, which specifically Archimedes said that give me a place to stand on and I will move the earth, right? So right now people are using the tool for fun, maybe even using an app to spin up some really cool tricks, and you're showing your friends on whatever that cool trick is, right? Which is cool. It's fun to play with the tools, but at the end of the day we want to know how to actually use it to drive ROI, or how to actually use it to drive growth or make more money, etc. in your business, right? So it all comes down to efficiency, right? So ChatGPT specifically can answer tax-related questions from an accounting standpoint, right, with a 95% accuracy. That's what's currently happening right now. So, and obviously, if you're an accounting bro, then obviously this will scare you, right? So the IRS did a study where they sent out they picked a business and they sent 20 different accountants and they asked them to file a tax return and all 20 of them had different tax returns that were filed, right? So now the question is, how right is right, okay, through using the tools. So, and how right is, how much is right enough, etc., right? So now we're going to look at a thing here where Amazon was specifically slicing jobs and Google was slicing jobs. All these big tech giants, all the giants out there specifically utilizing the tech, and the afterlife of that is obviously what we're currently seeing right now. And we saw what Elon Musk did, and we saw what's happening with Google. You see here Google, specifically, the parent Alphabet is cutting 12,000 jobs at basically 6% of its specific global workforce, right? So now Amazon also with the 5th of January is like 18,000 jobs, all because of what's happening in the world right now, right? So in the short term, people who get good with learning, specifically how to get better with query chains and specifically feeding the machine data and asking the right questions, right? They will be able to become very dangerous, right? We already see these things called prompt engineers, right? Now, obviously there's different channels and how you get better with doing this, but that's only one channel path avenue, right? So it's most worth learning, okay, to ask better questions, right? And how to feed it better data at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, the better the inputs, the better the outputs. And obviously, that is why we are here as Self-Built Systems, because we help you with creating the right outputs that you need to produce those specific amazing quote unquote outputs, right? So great inputs, embrace the tech so that you can feed it like specifically great inputs and produce fantastic great outputs, right? So if you are a master of your craft, you can be a pro golfer and you can be an amateur golfer. The pro golfer obviously knows more about what the person about the thing because he's a pro. Then you can be an average accountant, or you can be a great accountant. Same thing, you can be a rookie lawyer, or you can be a master of your craft. But the person who is the master of his or her craft, obviously if they learn how to align themselves with the tech, they will be the ones that are the most dangerous, because not only do they have the domain expertise, but they now have the tech expertise as well, which then obviously leads to higher ROI and then higher productivity rates, which leads to higher ROI, right? So we have to embrace what's currently happening. You cannot fight it. So at this stage, you still need humans, and I put this here, is that you still need humans to pilot the AI, right? At this stage. So again, good inputs, good outputs. So Sam Altman said that the goal for them in the short term with the AI is to become a medium human intelligence. So it would be like a high schooler, for an example, right? That finishes high school and that knows how to read and write, but doesn't need to get paid and doesn't need to sleep, doesn't need to go to the bathroom and do all these things. And it also is emotionless, right? So it doesn't have to deal with all human related problems. So you can then simply apply, like for example, legal or doctors, marketers, salespeople, like marketing, customer service, and any of these like skills, because it's specifically a blank slate that you can now layer on top of. Like you can layer on top of it, you can place the new skills, and this will produce $1 trillion company, right? Or maybe even companies. So, and that will be based on the top layer, right? So companies on the internet niche down into what other companies provide as a platform for the next level opportunity, right? So this is where I was, this is specifically where I was stating the point where like this whole area of what we're currently facing and experiencing is where all of these booms will come, where all these new companies will be, and they will need growth experts like that we run with the self-built systems, but there will be a lot of these new companies popping up everywhere, and yeah, we're going to see a lot of cool stuff happening. So a couple of years ago, they asked the top minds within the AI space of specifically which jobs will be replaced first, and they said like it will be blue collar jobs, right? And then after that they said we will see some white collar jobs, then we will replace high tech skills like coders, programmers, and then finally maybe like they will replace creators and like the basically creatives, you know. And this is specifically quoted by Sam Altman, who is the head of OpenAI, right? So now this turns out to be the exact opposite, and what we're seeing right now is they are replacing creators first right now. We've seen obviously what the ChatGPT, the language model, can do when it comes to coding. When you can obviously feed it the right stuff, it can produce code for you, it can write the code for you, it can write the copy for you, it can produce its own music for you, and that is where we are right now, right? So, and now specifically, we have entered the age of super intelligence. So 2023 forward, we've probably been in this state for who knows how long, but this is specifically the year of artificial intelligence, right? It's artificial insemination, it's artificial ingredients, and it's artificial imagination. Scary stuff, right? I know. So, which could lead to super intelligence. Now, this is defined when the AI itself is smarter than humans. Freaky. So at this point, the world will change significantly, and you will obviously, the people who have access to the super intelligence will become the most valuable resource on the planet. So firstly, the people who have access to that will be the most dangerous and capable of doing things, and obviously the accessibility towards that is what there will be a lot of questions around. Who will be able to use it? How much? Etc. as we've seen with China that put out these mandates, right? So for example, you would say, hey, bro, build me $1 million or $1 billion company, right? And it could at the same time go out, populate the code, build the product, put all the systems together, generate the sales copy, etc. Go out, generate content, find you some leads, right? And then transact them all within a single prompt, right? So as I said, who will have access to this? That's the great question here, right? So if the next layer of the AI can specifically replace all medical diagnoses, right? That the doctors go out and spend years, right, in learning, and they can do it better, faster, cheaper. And that specifically then will replace, the work, the design that the designers can do, right? Well, not just designers, but you obviously get the first part, and that then drills down to obviously all, the people who have been in this, the design factor of things, as I'm going to give you this example right now, why it will replace designers. So for an example, I went out and I specifically asked the tech to generate me some new business ideas for 2023 simply through just using the tech, right? So it went out, it populated me all these ideas, and I took it, I ran with it. I was like, okay, this idea. Then I went and I said, okay, this business idea, go out and write me a business plan on this idea. It went boom, 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 did that less than 8 minutes. And then I asked it, okay, cool, please design me a logo for this whole business idea. It did that, asked me color, questions, etc., all those things, sizes, etc. It was there, right? So that is what we're facing right now. So all the people that have that as their profession, they are specifically at risk, and the tremendous amounts of value will be captured by the people building the infrastructure. However, we are not specifically actively building the infrastructure. So how can we use it to our advantage? How can we use it to drive productivity? How can we use it to help the people around us or make money in our businesses? So if you are a baseline copywriter or videographer, you are toast, right? You're toasted if you do not learn how to specifically align yourself with the tech and be able to use the tech to get more out, to get more bang for your buck, right? Because the people who do will have the upper hand. So if you can improve your own writing abilities and 100% rely, or specifically just 100% rely on the AI, and see that specifically all the chatbot learning models is a human usage for idea generation. This is where this comes at. ChatGPT is great for that, because if you're not creative, you don't feel like creative, you just go on, you populate some ideas, and you get to work. That's why you still need the domain expertise. You have the domain expertise, you have the skills, now you just have a second brain. This brain can go out and do a bunch of things for you, but you still have to do the work, right? So again, idea generation is not useful when it's completely removed, right? So your ability, if you just rely on that thing, you will also then weaken your own human AI, so your God AI, right? Your brain. So think about it, because if you can just go out and push a button and it can do all that stuff, there's also a risk towards that, right? But there's also obviously upside. So you have to weigh the situation. And I do know a lot of people that will just go out and not think anymore, not do any sort of math, not think anymore. And that is the whole slave mind thing that's weavering around here, which is obviously, I don't want people to go into that direction, because that's why I make these videos, right? So if you're going to college, you might want to rethink that strategy. And I say this with a lot of love, because I dropped out of university studying a business degree, right? Now, this is industry specific. So if you have to go to uni or you have to go to college, then do it. You want to do your doctor stuff, you want to do your lawyer stuff, then go do it. But be aware of what is happening and how you can use this stuff, right? Just be aware, because you will have the upper hand. You will develop that edge. And if you need help, then go ahead, click the link down below this video, book in a call with me or one of my team members, and we'll help you create an action plan how you will specifically use that tech, industry specific, in your business, right? So again, you can be a garage guy, you can be an MLM marketer, and this tech will completely demoralize you if you do not pivot and learn how to use it or how to align it in your business, right? So team up with a pro engineer or like work with us. Like that's your decision, right? We'll help you either way. So China has released a mandate, right? I've mentioned this. Now China has released a mandate like blocking the usage of AI because it's so powerful. And you can go read up on this. It just says here this in this article here, it says AI in China regulations, market opportunities, challenges for investors. And on the other side, China specifically wants the legal sector to be AI powered by 2025. Now, if you're a legal person, this will ring some bells. And if you're a coach, you should be worried because information is going to become irrelevant and I can just push a button and voila, right? Boom. So what the tech does is it crawls all the info on the web that has ever been out there, right? At record speeds. And so if you're genuine, you really want to help people, you are in luck. Because we as human beings, we crave to be seen in some form of way. And we want to have a purpose so you can do something cool for someone. And at the end of the day, do something cool for yourself, which will then generate you some reputation, right? And like this is a cyclical nature that we live in. And what keeps you on top of your game is taking the human element, again, the skills, domain expertise, and the elements, specifically the human elements, and learning how to align yourself with the tech and the systems. And that, again, that's what we so hammer on and help you guys with. So if you're a service-based business, like doing between $10,000, $25,000 per month, or if you are health tech, biotech, fintech, fashion brand, we will help you scale to your first $1 million in basically MRR or ARR, dependable on the scenario, right? So we specifically focus on this one thing called profit velocity. Now you can go check out escape velocity, the science behind escape velocity, but we specifically focus on escape velocity with inside of Self-Built Systems. Why? Because once you reach the point where you have $3 to $4 million, right, in your bank account, then after tax, again, right, then that is a pinnacle point where you can start playing investor, where you can start allocating cash, and the cash, specifically the assets, the cash, they start working for you. So there's 3 forms of money, and I will do a complete different video on this, breaking them down. But for now, understand that we have number 1, cash flow, we have number 2, wealth, and we have number 3, enterprise value. How much value do you provide on paper, right? So a measure of a company's total value also as a company's comprehensive, well, basically comprehensive alternative to equity market capitulation, right? So the economy overall, and now specifically UBI, this last point that we have here is how does it impact the economy overall? How does UBI, where does UBI come in, and the asymmetric value? So Sam Altman, the head of OpenAI, they are already 4 years into a 5-year study on UBI, so universal basic income, right? So they are doing this because they already know that this is gonna impact how money is exchanged and how wealth is aggregated. And I will leave this tweet link below where you can go read more on this, obviously, what he said specifically here based on the UBI, right? So what is the tech exactly, right? The finance here of the things is crypto, marketing and sales is Sentinel AGI scripts, and energy is Fusion. And we specifically help entrepreneurs, business owners, service-based business owners use the Sentinel AGI to produce more revenue, to grow your business. Now that's obviously a deeper topic and a process, but we specifically help with that, right? So there will be a huge demand for entertainment, and we've seen what's happening. We've seen YouTubers turn into boxers, into possibly MMA fighters. So this all drives a certain something. This all drives that PPC or PPV, right? So if you know what that means, right? So entertainment is massive, right? So you either figure out how to provide enormous amounts of value, drive real value, asymmetric value, or you become an entertainer. Like the metaverse is going to be a real thing from my standpoint, right? Health innovation is going to be required and booms are coming. So UBI will level out the playing field and people will be bored out of their minds, right? What do I do with my time? I mean, you can only play that much golf in 1 week, right? So, and businesses are definitely will have to pivot. I definitely see that happening. So think about UBI, it can come about and few people are actually creating asymmetric value to create that UBI steady state, right? So you either UBI and chill or you create asymmetric value. So there's nothing in between. So honestly, UBI might even make this more fun for the people who choose the active creating process, right? And the value creation route, basically. So asymmetric value is created through leveraging the technology, right? Now focus on products that move humanity forward and not just increase your own wealth. See, that is a short-term gain, and you will be just fine if you focus on the long-term thing. So the hard thing is usually defending your castle, right? And the hard thing in my experience is usually the thing that pays off, right? And from what I've learned, there's not much money in easy. So there is a possibility for nuclear fusion to be solved and for like 99% of diseases to be solved within an arm's length of us right now, right? Which is massive to think about. So let's quickly just summarize this. So number one here, we have to utilize first principles thinking when we're breaking down the role of AI. And for now specifically and for the future, right? So number two here is we have like, it's not disrupting anyone who isn't meant to be disrupted, the whole technology boom, right? Learn how to pivot and align yourself with the technology and aspire to help others, right? Now also number three here is that we have learned how to use the technology, right? How to feed it the right data, how to talk to it, like how to communicate with it, right? Have it given the right inputs to generate the amazing outputs. So think about UBI as well. This can come about. I'm not saying it is. This can come about. And a few people are creating asymmetric value, and that can create specifically, it will create UBI and make it it will channel down, and the UBI specifically will become a steady state, right? So if this video scared you or pickled some sort of interest, it rang a bell, then below down this video there will be a link where you can go ahead and you can click the link and you can schedule in a call with me or with one of my team members, and we will walk you through exactly how you are going to use the tech, leverage the tech, learn how to use it in your industry specific market vertical. Does not matter. We will create you an action plan that you can use right now immediately and create that edge within amongst your competitors who are sitting on their hands right now, not exactly knowing this opportunity that is on the table. So if I were you, ASAP, I would hop onto that thing right now. So, and again, like if you guys like these videos, please do leave a like and a comment in the comment section down below. It just helps me get these videos out and in front of more people who need them. So guys, that's all from my side. If you have enjoyed this video, thank you for watching. And as always guys, go out into this world, use your skills, use your abilities, and go out there and do something great for somebody today. Bye-bye.